You're now watching Muga TV.
Hey guys, this is Mugalore here, and I'm back again with another discussion video. And today I want to talk about Microsoft. It's because Microsoft has just been on my mind for the past couple of days, and I think it's really important. I really wanted to talk about where Microsoft is standing as far as this generation is going with the Xbox One, because this has been a very bumpy road for the Microsoft and the Xbox One game console. And you know me, as me being a gamer, every generation I normally own all three other competitors' consoles. I always own a console from Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft. And even when Sega was around at the time, I also owned a Sega console. And it seemed like it's always been that pattern for me when it came to owning consoles. But it seemed like with this generation, things have been a bit different. I have yet to own an Xbox One. For the simple fact is there haven't been any games, or haven't really been a reason for me to pick up an Xbox One. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the console is just complete trash or it just sucks, but it haven't been exclusive for me out there that really drew me in to, like, you know what, I gotta buy an Xbox One. At first I thought it was going to be Killer Instincts at first, but that was during a time where I wasn't really heavily into fighters as I am today. So Killer Instincts wasn't the game that was going to pull me in. And then we had the game called The Record. That was another game that really spiked my interest and caught my interest, and I thought that would be the game right there that would convince me to buy an Xbox One. But after seeing the game and then looking at reviews and hearing the opinions from other players and other people, and actually seeing the game for myself, that game came up to be like a disappointment, or it didn't have that draw that I thought it was going to have to wheel me in to buy an Xbox One. So where do Microsoft stand now? You know, there's a lot of gamers right now who are Xbox One fans and are really sitting there starving and waiting for that exclusive game, or that exclusive game that's on the caliber of, I guess you could say, God of War 4. They're waiting for those games that can really push the envelope or make Xbox fans be proud to own an Xbox game console. And since the last generation, the Microsoft Xbox 360 was the console of choice of mine. It was the console. When I think of online gaming, when I just think about gaming in general last generation, I always thought about the Xbox 360. Sony with the PS3 was kind of like the system that I really didn't care too much for. When it came to multiplats, Microsoft 360 had some exclusives, and they even gave it a shot of trying to draw in the Japanese fan base by getting Japanese developers, by having, Dead or Alive exclusive to their console at the time. They had Infinite Undiscovery, Last Remnant. They also had Tales of Vesperia. They had Star Ocean. They had all these different games that was trying to lure in and bring in that player base. And it just seemed like with this generation, none of that is here. None of that is apparent, and it's really sucked. And I believe that Microsoft had pretty much gotten to their head. They knew that they were leading, or they knew that players, that their console was the console of choice that everybody was going to play. And now at that time, when motion controls was the thing that the Wii was doing, and Sony Move was coming out with their motion controls and the Kinect, they figured that, hey, the casual gaming market, I guess, to be something that we can pull in for the next generation. And then when the Xbox One announced, and it seemed like they still haven't pulled back from that, is with the whole DRM policy with the Xbox One, and with being online 24/7 in order to stay connected, and you can't trade games with your friends. And if you want to trade games with your friends, you also have to give up the ownership license of that game to your friends, so you won't be able to play that game again. It was so much controversy, and then they put all this emphasis in the Kinect, making it mandatory, and I really think that's what really hurted them. They really lost that touch. They really disconnected themselves from their fan base, from their core audience. They turned the Xbox One into a multimedia machine, where you watch Netflix and all these other programs that most gamers, is a plus to have, and it's a standard to know most consoles now. But the number one thing that gamers buy a console for is for dedicated gaming experience, and that's where they really messed up. And I think that at the time, Don Matrick really, I guess you could say, rubbed the fans the wrong way when people were quite confused about the direction they wanted to go with the Xbox One, and when a couple of game media sites asked Don Matrick, well, what about people who don't have an internet connection or can't connect to the internet as well as others? And Don Matrick, I remember in an interview, he said to those people, he said, well, those gamers, we do have a console called the Xbox 360, and it was during the time they were selling the Xbox 360 Slim at the time, and that really pissed people off. So gamers was feeling like Microsoft got too big for themselves at that point, that they just pretty much sell anything and the fans would soak it up.
Or who aren't able to get some form of connectivity, it's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message. If you don't, like it.
If you have zero access to the internet, that is an off.
This is the perfect time for Sony to come in and capture that audience. At the end of the PS3 life, Sony had finally caught up with the Xbox 360 in terms of sales, and they learned from where they messed up at the beginning and carried all their experiences and the mistakes that they made with the PS3 and carried it over to the PS4, and they seen the opportunity and they nabbed at it, and they took some of Microsoft player base. So now what we're standing at now is, where's the games? E3 was coming up. Each E3 that came up, people were waiting for those first party exclusives, those first party titles from Microsoft, and gamers wasn't getting them. They was waiting for Crackdown 3, and Crackdown 3 was announced, and they just kept getting pushed back, and fans are getting tired. They're waiting. And then we had Platinum Games with Scalebound, which is a Japanese game or a Japanese type of IP for the Xbox One. And then behind closed door, Microsoft and Platinum Games wasn't seeing eye to eye, so they end up cutting that down. And then now they lost Scalebound. And then we had was it Fable Legends, I believe it's called, and that studio ended up shutting down. So you had nothing from Fable. So it seemed like Microsoft just constantly kept running the Halo series, which a lot of people wasn't really feeling. Halo haven't been the same. I mean, even though Halo sells consoles, but it's not that heavy hitting juggernaut title like it used to be, in my opinion. I may be wrong. You can leave that in the comment section below. But Halo doesn't hit hard like it used to me. I stopped playing Halo around Halo 2, and I played the other ones here and there. But Halo doesn't seem to be that game anymore. Like that really, I gotta get an Xbox to get the next Halo. And then now they running with the Halo and Gears of War pretty much. And Gears of War is pretty much, in a way, getting stale in a way. So it seemed like Microsoft needs something. And the thing about this is, this E3 showed us, to me, in my opinion, that we might as well forget it. We might as well just cut our losses. People who own the Xbox One might as well just cut their losses and just wait for the next Xbox console. Because it seemed like to me, after looking at E3 and what Microsoft is doing, it seemed like all their energy and all their time is not going to be directed for the next for the remainder of Xbox One. Right now, they're looking towards the future right now. They're looking towards the next game console. And that's why I think that people should not get their hopes up with the Xbox One anymore, as far as looking for them first party games. Now, in my opinion, I believe that Microsoft is going to be the first to release their Xbox console first, their next gen Xbox console first, before the PS5 and the next Nintendo console that's going to be in the pipelines. Now, Sony, they're already at the top as far as sales. They finally reached that pinnacle, so things is going to start slowing down as far as sales for their consoles. So they're already admitting that they're already looking into the PlayStation 5 and don't expect the PS5 into the next 2 to 3 years and so forth and so on. But I believe that Microsoft, the next Xbox console is going to come out a lot sooner. I guess in the next 2 years. We may even hear about the next Xbox next E3, and then the following year we get the next Xbox. So Phil Spencer already said that the code name for the next Xbox is I believe is Scarlet. So they're already talking about this. They're already in the works, and they're already getting things together, cultivating everything together for the next Xbox game console. So I believe all their energy is definitely directed towards the next Xbox. And what proves this to me, in my opinion, is during E3, they already announced that they already acquired a couple of game companies, and those game companies are pretty much Ninja Theory, which they created a couple of games. They created Kung Fu Chaos on the original Xbox. They are responsible for the remake of Devil May Cry, which is DMC. They have also done, I believe it's called Hellblade, which is a nice indie title that you can download digitally, which done pretty good. So they really getting into this. And besides Ninja Theory, they also have Compulsion Games and another studio. They have 4 studios all together that they're really trying to get. Yeah, so Ninja Theory, Playground Games, Undead Labs, and Compulsion Games. So these are the 4 companies that they acquired, and since they acquired them, right now, I wouldn't expect don't expect any games coming from these companies for Microsoft with the Xbox One. We already know when it comes to game development for games, it takes like 2 or more, minimum is 2 years. So it's going to take like 2 to 5 years before we even hear anything from these companies when it comes to developing for the Xbox. So I'm saying right now they're already looking towards the future. Ninja Theory and these 4 companies that they acquired is already planning on designing games for the next Xbox game console. So everybody as Xbox fans, like I said before, to just cut their losses and just say, hey, you know what, the Xbox One was a good run. You guys should start looking forward to the next Xbox game console. And now the thing is, Microsoft has a rich library of first parties, like franchises. I mean, they acquired Rare. I mean, come on, can you imagine another Battletoads? You know, for another Battletoads, which they are coming out with one, but I mean a definitive Battletoads for the next Xbox console. Can you imagine another Battletoads, a brand new Banjo-Kazooie Collectathon 3D platforming game, a new Conker's game, a new Perfect Dark game? They have so many franchises. Bring Fusion Frenzy back, which is their Mario Party game. They have so many franchises. Bring the Fable series back. They already have Halo. They already have Gears of War. So they do have some juggernaut titles, first party titles that they can develop, you know, for the next Xbox. And I believe that when the next Xbox does release, I believe that the next Xbox is going to come out strong. I think they're going to come out fighting real strong. I think they're going to have a nice lineup of first party titles within the launch year of the next console, and kind of like how it's what Nintendo done with the Nintendo Switch. That first year was amazing. Nintendo had Mario Odyssey, which I wasn't expecting to come out the same year as Breath of the Wild and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I was not expecting big titles, those 3 big titles alone, within 1 year. They came out swinging strong. So I believe that in due time, they're already prepping some heavy titles, and they're going to try to grab the market first. This is what I'm predicting. This is what I'm guessing. This is just my hypothesis. I would say that that's what they're going to do with the next Xbox game console. I believe they're going to come out a year before the Sony, and of course it's going to be way years ahead before the next Nintendo console come out. But I really believe that they're going to come out first before Sony, and I believe that the first year is going to probably be very impactful. I really believe that Ninja Theory is going to have a title for them coming within the launch window, and also Undead Labs and Compulsion Games, the new studios that they acquired and everything. I would love to see a new Kung Fu Chaos. I really think they should take franchises that's been buried a long time and just revitalize them, because they need as much first party as possible. But I really think that's the case. I really think that right now that what they're going to give us, they're going to give crumbs for the next 2 years as far as first party is concerned. They owe you guys, the fans, the Xbox One fans, Crackdown 3. So they're going to give you guys Crackdown 3, and I believe they'll probably give you one more first party game, and then that's it. The rest is going to be just multi-plats up into the next Xbox game console. So that's pretty much my opinion on what I think about the state of Microsoft, what they're doing with the Xbox One. I think right now this is it. Their future and their plans have shifted from the Xbox One, and they just holding you guys off by just telling you that, hey, we have some stuff coming up for Xbox One. But I really believe that that's it. There's nothing else for the Xbox One. They're going to probably give us 2 or 3 more first party games, just little crumbs, just to hold us off into the next console. So that's about it. So that's pretty much my opinion. I want to know your thoughts, and I want to know your opinions. Do you think I'm being a little too harsh? Do you think that I'm completely wrong about what Microsoft is doing? And do you believe that Microsoft may be the first next gen console to release before its competition? And if so, what titles would you like to see released during the launch window of the next gen Xbox game console. So make sure you leave your thoughts in the comment sections below, and don't forget to hit the bell at the bottom of this video to get notified to when I upload new videos. This is Mugen Lore, and I'm signing off. See you game fiends later. Peace out.